night, and we've been to a lot of provincial parks, and you think I would know better by now to have an extension for the 30 amp because the cord that we have isn't long enough. We had planned to make gyros with Greek salad and everything, but nobody's hungry because we ate at the chip stand, and so we're having hot dogs. We're having hot dogs. Hard to believe we had hot dogs. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. Obviously, the camping trip was not the only place that I've been having technical difficulties. Last week, we started with the live stream and a special link for Cookie. And then we moved on to restarting afterwards, I think. And then I scheduled it for the wrong day, so that one started. So yeah, been a lot of technical difficulties going on. Why is this not scrolling? All right. So I did see Daryl here earlier. Hello, Daryl. Hello, William. And Cookie's here. Hello, Cookie. Hi, Tanya. William, Brody. Getting all our smoke. And Sonia. Now, those were actually hot dogs in the air fryer, which I actually prefer hot dogs in the air fryer over the grill. Maybe it's because the grill is a lot more work to pack. The air fryer is pretty easy. But yeah, I thought we would talk about, we did our first weekend of camping this weekend. And I thought maybe we'd talk about the importance of a shakedown trip because boy, did we need one. I feel like we haven't, I feel like it's been a year since we've been camping. And let's just say I forgot a lot of stuff. I don't want my smoke back. We're good. Yes, Cookie. Hot dogs in the air fryer. You have to try it. They're very good. They're very good. It's a hell of a lot better than boiling them or putting them in the microwave. That's for sure. And you get the buns nice and toasty. It's good. The air fryer is the new go-to, especially for the trailer. It's just so much easier to pack and so much easier to cook stuff. I was supposed to make gyros, and the gyros I do make in the air fryer with steak strips. There's no need to fire me today. I scheduled it. I know we're an hour late. As I told you, can everybody hear me okay? Bring my mic down a little bit. It is my oldest son's 24th birthday today. And so we had the family over for dinner and what have you. I'm going to play a little bit of music here. Let me know if this is too loud, not loud enough. So everybody was here for dinner, and we still have some stragglers around, so you probably hear some noise. The dog will probably bark at some point. But yeah, that's why I'm on an hour later tonight. Hey, B. Yeah, I have to try sausage of some kind. Yeah, I don't eat a lot of hot dogs either, Cookie. As much as I say hot dogs, when it's hot dogs for everybody else. Me, it's the hot Italians. Those are my favorite. The hot Italian sausages, that is. Let's not get carried away. But yeah, I gotta have the greasy sausage. That's my go-to. But yeah, 1 hour late does mean it was a great party. It was. I'm into the tea though, so and not much of a party for me. But yeah, if you saw the opening video, we had to be at least 100 yards from the power pedestal, and I should know better. This is not our first time camping in a provincial park in Ontario. The power pedestals are wherever they feel like putting them. There's no rhyme nor reason to them. I bought a 50-foot extension last year. Turns out it's for a generator, not for a trailer. So even though it is 30 amp and it is 50 feet long, it does not plug in to my trailer does not plug into a power post. It's just the wrong connections, period. So that is in my Amazon cart as we speak, although I do not have any plans to camp in a provincial park for the rest of the year. I also forgot my ladder, so we have no camera footage from on top of the trailer. But also, where we were, there was a lot of pine needles and gum branches, and so I have tip outs, and the tip outs were full of pine needles and stuff when we went to pack up on Sunday, and I got as much off as I could. Normally I'll get up on the ladder and I'll sweep them, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that at all. As well with the slide out, I like to make sure that there's nothing. We have a topper on the slide out, and it is all ham. It is all ham, Cookie. It's all some sort of ham. So you can always get a bunch of stuff caught between the topper and the slide out. So I haven't checked it yet because I really didn't want to have all those pine needles and stuff inside the trailer. So I will go and clean everything up and fix everything up before our next trip out. But yeah, I forgot my ladder. I forgot my drill. So we got there. Everybody worked Friday. So we left way later than we should have. This is not new. If you watch any of my videos, we leave late every single time. Apparently we like setting up in the dark. I don't know. When we got to the campsite, there was only electrical. There's no hookups. There's no water. I don't like to travel with a full fresh tank just because it's so much weight. I really worry about breaking the metal straps that hold the fresh water tank in. And I know a sausage is not a hot dog cookie. It's hot dogs in general because I make one sausage for me and then I make a pack of hot dogs for everybody else. Nobody else likes a sausage but me. So yeah, I have a 60-gallon tank on that trailer. So I do not like to travel with the freshwater tank full. The road to Bon Echo is a small 2-lane highway that's a little rough. So I just don't like to travel with a full tank at all. So I wanted to fill the tank once we got there. I hadn't had a chance to empty the tanks from the winter, so there's still a lot of antifreeze and stuff in there that I wanted to get out. So when we pulled into the campsite, by the time we checked in, and there was a huge line to check in, and I dumped the tanks and I filled the fresh water, it was 10:20 when we were looking for the site. And I don't know why I had it in my head that it was site number 189. It was site 386. And for some reason, yes, you can laugh at my meat pronunciation. It's fine, Cookie. I get it. I know that sausage is not hot dog. And if you look closely at the video, it was all wieners in there. I didn't have any of that. But anyways, yeah, I had it. I don't know why she told me that we were staying on 386, and I looked for 286. So I got us lost on top of that. It's dark, and I hate disturbing anybody. So we're in the campsite. My headlights are shining on every campsite as we're going by. It was just, it was not a great experience. We finally find the campsite, and the campsite you have to imagine is like it almost looks like a pair of pants, and one leg is where the trailer goes, the other leg has a picnic table and a fire pit and or a fire ring. And so we decided to move the picnic table and put the trailer down in that spot, just because it got us closer to the power pole, to the power pedestal. But of course, between the two sites, there was a giant tree. So I had to maneuver in the dark my first outing of the year, and I had to back it in at an angle and push it down a spot where it was never meant to have trailers. In fairness, the people at the campsite across from us came out and asked if we wanted them to move their trucks, and I said, no, we're fine. I can get in from here. And they clapped. So I got it in second. Well, I got it in first try, and then I just pulled ahead and straightened it out. So I actually did a pretty good job. They also complimented me the next day. We spent a lot of time talking to our neighbors because without them, we would have had nothing. We would have had solar for the weekend because they happen to have a 100-foot extension cord with a 15-amp plug on it. So, am I wrapping my power cord with rope lighting so I don't miss it at night? No, I've never heard of that. That actually sounds like a pretty good idea. Someone was knocking on Cookie's room, 121. They meant to be at 321. They forgot to push 3 on the elevator. Kind of like me getting lost. Yeah, that's a great idea, V. I guess that would definitely prevent tripping on it. I rarely go on the driver's side of the trailer at night, other than setting up. And once we added that 100-foot extension cord to the 30-amp cable, we had a lot of slack in the cable at that point, so I wasn't too concerned with tripping over it at that point. But it was 35 degrees in Ottawa on Friday, which is 97. Oh, thank you, William. Yes, thumbs up, please. Let me just see. Clear that out. 35 Celsius to Fahrenheit is 95. That actually doesn't seem that hot. Anyways, get out of here. Okay, there we go. But yeah, it was 95 or 35 here on Friday, and so the concern was air conditioning. On 15 amp, we were able to run the air conditioning for about 15 minutes at a time, and then we would shut it down. It took maybe half an hour for the camper to cool down, so it wasn't too bad. And we ran the air conditioner maybe 3 times, and we were fine. We shut it off for the night. And 15 amp was enough. And then the next day, the temperature dropped drastically. So we ended up not needing the air conditioner for the rest of the weekend. So we lucked out. 15 was fine. The site that I had, it was so sunny that solar probably would have been fine to keep the fridge going and the fans. Yeah, it was the same with us, V. I mean, the weather's probably very similar. Because we're not that far apart. We were at Bon Echo, so we're maybe 7 hours from you. But yeah, so that was the power was probably the biggest issue of the weekend. And then, like I said, I forgot my drill. I have the hand crank. I keep it stowed, and I could have hand cranked them down, but it's like, oh, you know what? It's getting late. I'm making too much noise as it is. We're already disturbing the neighbors, borrowing stuff, and so we just went without stabilizers. And then by the next day, it's like, you know what? I'm not even putting them down. I really don't even care. There was only 4 of us in the trailer. It's a little bouncy. It wasn't the end of the world. And quite frankly, we may or may not have had a few drinks, so the trailer was bouncy anyways. The smoke was bad here yesterday, V. It was much better today, and it looks like Southern Ontario is going to get all of it for the rest of today and tomorrow. It's raining here now, so hopefully that's going to take care of some of it. And we're sending it all to William, so we're getting rid of most of it now. So we'll see. Hi, Carol. But so we forgot the drill, forgot the ladder, didn't have an extension for the electric. What else happened? Oh, yes. So we did a nice big kayak on, the bugs were unbearable, the mosquitoes were unbearable. And we did a big kayak on Saturday morning. And we had decided, now mind you, I had planned a nice dinner, so I don't want to hear about, hey Jim, yeah, we're sending all the smoke to you guys in New Jersey, and we're getting rid of it that way. But anyways, I don't want flack because we were planning a nice dinner. So there is a chip stand not far from Bon Echo. We said we're going to do the chip stand, and the chip stand was lousy. We've been to that chip stand before, and it was so good, and it was not good this time. But because the chip stand was 7 minutes down the road from the campsite, I strapped the kayaks to the roof, and I strapped them to the J hooks that we have there, but I didn't strap them to the front of the hood, which is I usually don't do that unless we're just going a short distance. Normally, I always have them strapped down. I don't want to be responsible for anything. But I guess because I hadn't strapped them to the front of the truck, a big gust of wind caught them and managed to get my J hook to slide right off of the pole on the top. And one of the kayaks right over me on the driver's side, we have 4 of them across the roof. If you can see it in my logo and in the banner on the YouTube channel. One of those kayaks swung right out into the oncoming traffic. Thank goodness there was nobody there, and I'm pretty high up, so unless it would have been a tractor trailer or something. But it swung out, it bent the J hook at the back. It put a bend in the plastic of the kayak, which I have to fix. Luckily, it wasn't one of the good kayaks, it was one of the cheaper ones. But man, did that ever scare me. So we pulled over and we strapped everything down, put everything back in. Sam helped me, and we got back on the road. And by the time we got to the chip stand, I think my expectations were a little bit higher. So that went wrong. And then the next morning, when we went to take the kayaks off, I guess the way that the J hook had bent at the back, because I hadn't taken them off yet, when we relieved the pressure on the front hook, the way that the J hook was bent at the back, it was putting so much pressure on the kayak that it actually fell right off the truck, almost hit somebody. So yeah, it was lesson learned. 5 minutes is enough for a mishap. It's and really I kicked myself because it's so not hard to put those hood straps on, and it was a decision I made, and it was the wrong decision. So it was enough to scare me that that's not going to happen again. As well, we're going to get some better equipment to put the kayaks on. The stuff I have is from Amazon. It's not brand name stuff, but it's worked for this long without any problems. Again, I think it was more the way that my lack of strapping them down properly. We did the hike. We did our kayak on Saturday morning. We did a big hike, and that hike involved an awful lot of mosquitoes. There was no mosquitoes at the campsite. It was windy on the lake, but as soon as we got off the lake and started hiking, it got really hot. There was no wind, and there was so many bugs. It was crazy. What is planned next? Well, next is probably our biggest trip. Well, we have 2 big trips this year. And the next big one is we are renting an RV. So that's going to be exciting. We are flying out to Banff, and we're flying out to Calgary, and we are renting a 31-foot Jayco Class C for 8 of us. My brother-in-law is coming. He's renting a camper van with his son, and Yeah, I know them. I grew up in Northern Ontario, V, and the black flies and the like, they were just awful. We had the netting and whatnot, um, but it just I the mosquitoes bother me, and because of the wet spring that we had, they're worse than they've been in a very long time. A little bit of off would have been fine, and I had off in the truck. That's the worst part. So, um, you're from Northern Ontario as well. Where are you from? I grew up in Sudbury, and my parents are still on the French River. But um, I don't know if I'm getting older, but it just, like, at one point I had my mouth closed and I took a deep breath through my nose, and the mosquitoes were going up my nose. Like it was just that bad. Um, but oh, you're from Sudbury too. Okay, okay, me too. I've been in Ottawa since, oh my god, 1990. But yeah, born and raised in Sudbury. Yeah, good old Ramsey Lake. I lived on Moonlight Avenue, the last street in Sudbury, and it was a 2-minute bike ride down to Moonlight Beach on Ramsey Lake. So yeah, I spent a lot of time there. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can't. A shakedown trip is not about the weather, not about the bugs. So I do have to leave those two things, out. Uh, the smoke advisory came an hour after we left, because the fire in Centennial Lake had started just about the same time um, that we were packing up to leave. Um, yeah, we're actually not far from Bars, and the trailer is out in Navan, which is between the east end of Ottawa and Bars. Um, yeah, it's beautiful, that area. Um, but yeah, trying to think of what else. I think that was all that went wrong. That was enough though. But it just, the shakedown trip's important, before you get on the longer trips. As you know, um, we are going to Cape Cod this year. So when you're missing things in the trailer, when you forget things, when it's things that you absolutely have to have, and this was very eye-opening. Guylaine is on me about making lists. I don't know if it's I'm getting older and I'm forgetting stuff. Um, but yeah, we're gonna have to. I have checklists. I just don't look at them. Um, and it was a little tough to get everything packed in the trailer. It was The dog's chasing the rabbit around the house. Okay. Um, there was a lot to do. Everybody was working crazy hours last week, so trying to get everything done. I know it's not an excuse, but it's we really have to do a better job on the checklist and make sure that we have everything. Banff's going to be interesting because all we get is a carry-on. The RV that we're renting, we got on Outdoorsy, and it comes with everything. I've spoken to the guy. Yeah, it's a good idea. An inside list and an outside list. We plan a menu to make sure that we have. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Was I made a menu. I brought everything I needed except the wieners were an afterthought. That was if we had a fire, or somebody just wanted a snack at night. I was going to throw them in the air fryer. So I didn't bring hot dog buns. They weren't really on the schedule, so I do have an excuse. Oh, thanks, V. I appreciate that. So the hot dog buns were not really a necessity. However, we had planned to have sandwiches on the way home on Sunday, and I didn't bring any bread. I didn't bring any buns. Luckily, we did not eat the gyros on Saturday night, and so we had Nan's to have sandwiches. But Cookie uses digital lists. Yeah. Well, you know what? I try to have two of everything. So I'll give you a perfect example. One thing that I know that I have in the trailer at all times, I have a breaker bar, and I have a 19 mil long socket for my lug nuts for the tires in case we get a flat. And I bought those specifically for the trailer, and they never come out. So we have a coffee machine just for the trailer that never comes out. And I know, like Sonia, like you're stationary most of the time, so I know that sounds silly for somebody who you probably have one of everything for your trailer. But for us, because we travel so infrequently, and it's just, we're weekend warriors, and like we rarely leave anything. I'll buy a bottle of shampoo and put it in the trailer at the beginning of the season, and it stays in there till the end of the season, then it comes out. So if we don't put it back in the spring, ask me how I know. Guess what I forgot? I brought body wash. Apparently that's not the same. See, because for men, body wash is for everything, and for women, you need different soap for every area. So I forgot the shampoo. But we are buying trailer specific shampoo, so we'll be set. We're not taking the trailer out again until mid-July, if you can believe that. We're still traveling. Yeah, and we do too. We have like a little garbage can under the sink, and so all the soap and everything goes in there. And like I said, we put it in, but I mean, everything comes out in the winter. Like, we don't leave anything in there at all. But yeah, the next big trip is Banff. And then the long weekend in July, we're going to my folks' place up in Sudbury. And then I have to work for 2 weeks. And then where are we going after that? We're going to Quebec City. We may do a trip to Kingston in that time. And then August is Cape Cod. Cape Cod, and I think Niagara Falls. I think we're going to do Niagara Falls. We haven't booked it yet. There is still room at the Niagara Falls KOA, so we might do that. The long weekend in September, we're going back to my folks' house, and then it's M23. And shampoo and conditioner bars are great. Stay in the sink in the winter in case the ball is cracked. Yeah, we take everything out. I don't want anything in there. I don't know. Yeah, we really need to have one of everything. Oh, that was the other thing. I didn't put the metal utensils back in, so it was all plastic utensils. I didn't buy any paper plates, so we had to use regular plates, which I don't like using if we're at a provincial park, because then you got to wash them, and water is. I'm not so worried about running out of water. I'm worried about filling up the gray tank more than anything else. We couldn't find. We have a big knife in. We have a big plastic box where we keep all the cooking utensils and things, and we have a big like bread knife in there. And I was going to use that to cut up potatoes to go with the gyros, and Glenn looked in the box. She couldn't find the knife. I looked in the box, couldn't find the knife. I was like, well, I don't remember taking the knife out of the trailer, so that was kind of weird. So right beside the chip stand, there was a variety store. I went and bought a big knife, and then later that night, we found the knife exactly in the box we were looking at. Neither one of us found it. So it felt like that kind of weekend. What else did I forget? Yeah, I forgot to bring the bread. So, yeah, the paper products. ON21, July 21 to 23 in Dorset. Oh, that's very cool. Unfortunately, I will be in Quebec City from the 20th to the 23rd, so I will not be able to attend. But that's good to know. Is that an annual event fee? We'll have to look at doing that maybe next summer. But yeah, that's how the weekend went. It felt good to be in the trailer, but I felt like a complete newbie. You'd never know I'd been on the road for 12 years because I don't think I've ever opened a season like that, ever. But you live, you learn. The kayaking was fantastic. I got compliments on my parking for backing up the trailer, which was great. We did have chip stand, and even though it wasn't great, it was still chip stand. So how bad can that be? So overall, it was a really good trip, but just a few little setbacks. Yep, we played a lot of 5 Crown. The mosquitoes are too bad to be out at night. I just wasn't interested, and so we stayed in the trailer and just played 5 Crown. So that was fun. Oh, the location is mobile. Okay, that might be something worth looking into. So it is 9:30. Enough about my fun trip. We can move on to some random thoughts. So I thought we'd start off tonight with the interesting fact that your thumb is the same length as your nose. And I read that and I didn't believe it, and I looked it up, and yeah. Miles Bournes. What's Miles Bournes? Is that a location? I'm not familiar with that. What's a card game? Miles Bournes. Okay, I will definitely check that out. Let me write that down because I will forget later. Not mine. Not sure what, William. Your thumb is not the same length as your nose? I'm not going to ask which one's bigger. Français Milborn. Okay. I will check that out. Cookie's thumb is longer. Beast nose is mini. Random thought number 2, sloppy handwriting by doctors is responsible for up to 7,000 deaths per year. Now that I believe, because I deal with messy doctors' writing every day. And luckily, the worst doctor in our area is somebody that I've been dealing with for 30 years. So I can actually decipher his writing now. You might be drinking water that is older than dinosaurs, because water just recycles itself, right? And so it's possible that the water that you're drinking has been on Earth for a very long time. If it was here when the dinosaurs were here, hopefully they didn't pee in it. You know, Cookie, I'm talking about the length on the outside, right? I'm not talking about jamming your thumb in there to see if it's the same length. I'm talking about the outside here. Oh, that was another thing that happened. Now that I read this, apparently the smell of rotting potatoes can kill you. There's something in there that's toxic. Yeah, a lot of the doctors have gone that way here too, Jim, and that's how it should be. I guess the concern is that they're much easier to fake the prescriptions. I know my family doctor uses digital signature, which is so easily replicable. Yeah. Kale is toxic. Right, Tanya? Like, how many RXs did we get that we couldn't read? Or that we'd have to call for clarification? Like, it's just crazy. Yeah, the fact that the rotting potatoes can kill you. I was at work on Monday when I realized that I left a bag of potatoes that I was supposed to cook Saturday night, that I left the bag of potatoes in the trailer. And we weren't going back in the trailer until mid-July. So I definitely made a trip back to the trailer to get those out, because the smell of rotting potatoes is disgusting. It wasn't until I did my research for this that I found out that they're actually toxic. So the first 2 sections of your thumb are longer than your nose. Well, how many sections does your thumb? My thumb only has 2 sections. How many sections does your thumb have? Do they recycle toilet water? I'm not sure about everybody else, but I do know that the statistics for Ottawa is that when you're drinking water in Ottawa, you are likely drinking water that has been through 7 people. So. Death by potatoes. Right? You think they're toxic enough when you load them up with sour cream and bacon and cheese. Just the smell can kill you. Let me see here. Chocolate ice cream has been scientifically proven to reduce stress, reduce emotional and physical pain. How about that? Right? I am a big fan of chocolate, so I definitely approve of that. I'm happy with that. Also, on the topic of chocolate, consuming chocolate after drinking alcohol can help cure a hangover. Not sure about that. Maybe something worth experimenting with. Oh, wait, why do I do that? Okay. Yeah, but Cookie, you said the first 2 sections. How many sections do you have? Is there more than 2? Are you E.T.? Bats eat enough. I wish there was bats where we were, because, man, they would have been feasting on those mosquitoes. Bats eat enough insects to save the United States $1 billion a year in crop damage and pesticides. That's wild. Yeah, it was funny because when we pulled into the campsite, of course, they have those long RV sites, and where I pulled in, where there was a spot, my headlights were basically right on the check-in cabin. And Tanya has a big tub of chocolate ice cream in the freezer. There you go. Now, is that to reduce stress, reduce emotional and physical pain, or is it to cure hangovers? Because I think for Tanya, it could kind of go either way. And she's been eating a lot of it lately. So again, it could go either way. When we pulled into the campsite, my headlights were right on the check-in cabin, and there was a line of people. There had to be 5 people in front of me, a couple of people behind me after I went and stood there. And it looked like we were dancing out there, because everybody was just swatting and slapping and moving. And but yeah, there was a lot of mosquitoes. Keelan's getting ice. Your entire brain is used when listening to music. It's one of the few activities that does this. Tanya says all of the above. Okay. So listening to music apparently is good for you. So I think we all knew that. Hi. Are you coming to say hi? Elena's not coming to say hi. She had a very busy. She says hi though, but she had a very busy day at work, and now she has emails to do. So you may not see her at all tonight. That explains a lot, Jim. The music, right? That's what happens when your partner is a DJ. See, I rarely use my entire brain. I rarely use portions of it. So clearly I didn't use any of it before we packed up, and because I forgot everything. I only started saying there was 3 sections when I broke mine, and the orthopedic surgeon called it my thumb. You're talking about like this part? Is that a section of thumb? I guess it is. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess we have 3 sections. I keep thinking that there's only 2 sections, but I guess there's 3 sections. I guess you're right. I don't know why. I just thought that was hand. Real diamonds do not show up on X-rays. That's kind of weird. I guess if they're on a ring or something, the ring would show up, but not the diamond. And that was the section. Okay. So I missed it. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't thinking that, but Yeah, I guess, like, no, that's, yeah, see, I wasn't thinking that section. I was thinking more of this section. Again, on the outside, don't do that. Our final random thought of the evening. A woman's brain shrinks during pregnancy and may take up to 6 months to regain its normal size. Men's brains shrink at a different time, and that's likely how the woman got pregnant in the first place. But anyways, yes, music's when Sonia hands me the headset to talk on the live stream, the music you guys hear in the background is in the headphones, and I find it difficult to keep on point. I've got music playing now, and I don't know if anybody can hear it. I've got it pretty low. I can hear it, and I find it a bit distracting, but I don't wear headphones when I do this. Right? Maybe I should. I didn't fact check that one, Cookie. And oh, you hear it? Okay. But yeah, I don't know if. Because yeah, you would think that would show up. Huh? William has nothing to say. I assume you're speaking of that last comment. I have 5 kids, so I have nothing to say either. All right, so before we wrap this up, let's have a little session of Would You Rather. I know that we missed a lot of, oh no, last week we did them. It was the week before that we didn't do the Would You Rather. Would you rather only be able to wash your hair twice a year or only be able to check your phone once a day? Well, if your husband forgets the shampoo in the trailer, you don't get to wash it at all. So there you go. I don't think I could live just checking my phone once a day. I may be a bit of a phone addict. But I do almost everything on the phone. The laptop, I edit my videos on the laptop. I do the live stream on the laptop. I have a big computer for editing photos, but my phone, I'm pretty much, that's my lifeline. That's my go-to. I do everything on my phone. Your hair is too magnificent to wash twice a year, Jim, or your hair is too magnificent to only wash twice a year? William's bald. That's true. So I guess William is he's okay to only wash his hair twice a year. Would you rather have a permanent unibrow or no eyebrows at all? Yeah, Cookie routinely forgets his phone at home and still does on occasion. I pretty much always know where my phone is, but in the last 3 months, I think I've forgotten it somewhere twice. I knew where it was, it just wasn't in my pocket where it normally is. And it creates a lot of anxiety. Yeah, just because I don't have access to anything. I prefer to have my phone, for sure. I'm sure he meant to say only as well, Sonia. But it was, you don't want to wreck any of that magnificence. So Tanya's going with no eyebrows, and Jim is going with the unibrow. You were on your phone and you lost it, Cookie? How did you do that? It can be drawn on. As long as you don't draw them on so you look surprised all the time. That would be... I've seen a lot of that. Some of the seniors come in and they have them drawn on and they look like... Or they look angry. Do these glasses look good on me? No, you look angry. You're wearing Bluetooth earbuds. I'm not sure what's happening with the dog. He's losing his mind. Put it down somewhere. See, if I have the earbuds in, the phone is in my pocket. So I don't just for that exact fact. And I'm still a very physical. I like grocery list has to be written down. I don't like it on my phone. I like a grocery list of like a pen. I like to scratch stuff off as I go along. I like to circle stuff that I have to go somewhere else for. So the phone's in the pocket. The worst is when I'm trying to do groceries and I'm trying to watch the chat in Sonia's live, because those two things coincide probably at least once a week, and that's very difficult. That slows me down more than anything else. The phone fell down in the box of the dog beds I was digging. William wants to go with no eyebrows, and he's bald. I'd be a little worried about that look, William. All right. Would you rather have aliens be real and covered up by the government, or have no extraterrestrial life at all in the universe? Interesting fact. If anybody has seen the whistleblower video that came out, was that Sunday? And Gord has his phone in his pocket at work, and I hit the air horn button. Yeah, which is fine as long as I have my earbuds in. But I did not have my earbuds in, and I just had an air horn in my pants. So yeah, that's a great sound at work. Everybody likes that. So yeah, I'm not sure what to think of all the extraterrestrial stuff that's going on. Doesn't really affect me at all. Okay, says as long as he has no first-hand knowledge, he does not care. I tend to agree with that. Aliens are real. Yes, we've all seen E.T. Sorry, I'm just looking at something in the chat. Okay. Yes. Who knows? Lots of strange things going on lately. So, would you rather be criticized or ignored? I think I'd rather be criticized, because that's a learning experience. I would rather have 10 people watch my videos and critique them than have nobody watch my videos. So I would definitely take criticism over being ignored, for sure. Jim would rather be ignored. We can do that. We try to do that. I think it would be very difficult to ignore you, Jim. And would rather be criticized. Well, I was pretty good at that. Cookie would rather be criticized. He hates being ignored. Yeah, you were definitely not ignored at work, Tanya. There's lots of criticizing going on. Ignorance is bliss, isn't it, though? But is ignorance the same as being ignored? And for our final would you rather of the evening, would you rather work alongside Dwight Schrute or alongside Homer Simpson? Both would be interesting. Every damn day. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Well, you know, you need someone to point it out, right? That's how you grow. That's how you learn. And if you're getting criticized every day, maybe you're not learning something. Who? See, now as soon as I read this, I knew that you were going to ask me who. Dwight Schrute is on The Office. Nobody watches The Office in here? William would rather work beside Homer. Working beside Homer would definitely make everyone feel smarter, right? Schrute, Dwight Schrute, the beet farmer from The Office. Jim's nemesis. Not this Jim from The Office. Everybody knows The Simpsons, not everybody knows The Office. I highly recommend The Office. Let's see. Tanya is being all anti-Office, but I will tell you, I had to take some time off work a few years back, and her and one of our coworkers bought me a coffee mug that said "World's Best Boss," which is what Michael Scott uses in The Office. So she's still into The Office a little bit. So everybody's going with Homer. Everybody's going with Homer because they don't know who Dwight is. You don't like Steve Carell. Do you know why you don't like Steve Carell? Because you don't like Steve Carell because you watch movies, and Steve Carell is awful in movies. William is retired and works by his phone, except for in The Patient. Was he? I don't remember that movie. I'm not much on the movies. I'm not much on anything anymore. It's pretty much 99% YouTube. Cookies watched The Office, had its moments, but not your style of humor. It is a little ridiculous, that's for sure. I did like that, and I think that was one of the last shows that I watched before I went all in on YouTube, and that and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which again is just absolutely ridiculous, but I find it's pretty funny. And then we bought the trailer that we're in now, and I started doing research on YouTube to try and learn as much about the trailer as I could before it was delivered. And Traveling Robert's his 3-hour video where he went to Maine, where old Kia died, showed up in my browse features, and I wanted to see if, because we've been to Maine quite a few times, and I thought, I want to see if this guy went to the same places that we went. And I watched that movie, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. And so I started watching Traveling Robert all the time, and then I found KYD, and then I found Less Junk More Journey, and then I found Finding Our Someday, and the list goes on. And so I just started watching all of them on YouTube, and I don't watch TV at all anymore, honestly. Glenn and I watch Three's Company at night, and that's about it. We watched, I'm going to say we watched about 7 episodes or 6. We watched the whole first season. We never went back to it, of The Patient. UB2B? Yes, UB2B. I started watching Robert in July of 2021, and by August of 2022 I had watched every video on his channel, with the exception of going back and looking at the old lives. In fact, I think the first live that I ever watched from Robert was at M21 with Sonia and Jim sitting behind him. Cookie likes the Stooges. Well, that goes without saying. I think everybody likes the Stooges. The Office is a little too dry, ridiculous. Yeah, I think what really gets me is the way that Michael Scott just says whatever's on his mind and doesn't think that any of it's wrong. it just, I like that. Yeah, and then once I had gone through all of Robert's catalog, I went through all of KYD's catalog. And then from there, I just, every day I watch a different YouTube personality. And then of course, you know, the lives. So yeah, I guess probably spend at least an hour a day on YouTube, and then plus the live streams. What do I think about purchasing an Airstream in July? I think you need to find whatever trailer works for you, William. Is there a particular reason why you're hooked on Airstream? Does it meet all of your needs? I don't love the trailer that I'm in right now, but I have 3 queen size beds. I have a dinette that is a big double, and I have a couch that is 72 inches long, or a sofa that's 72 inches long that I easily fit on to sleep. And so while it's not perfect, it suits my needs right now. So if the kids want to come with us, they can. We're still in discussions as to who's coming to Cape Cod. And it just seems like almost every week there's a new person getting added in that wants to come. And I can take 10 people. So that trailer fits our specific needs right now. However, I don't like setting up beds every time that I go. So those tip outs, they don't always work for me. I'm planning on boondocking twice on my way to M23, and the tip outs are not, I don't feel safe in a parking lot with them. So I will be sleeping on the couch with the tip outs up. You know, Traveling Robert mentions he doesn't like the slide out anymore. I love a slide out, but he is right. You are limited where you can open that slide. So you really have to do your research and find out, you know, what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. I'd strongly recommend renting something. You know, you've got Outdoorsy, you've got RV Easy. You know, there's a million places you can rent an RV. And I mean, Outdoorsy, you can find a trailer for, if you have something to tow it with now, you can find a trailer. Yeah, you have an F-150. I've seen it in your videos. You can find a trailer to right now and see if it fits your needs. They're like 125 to 150 bucks a night, unless you want something massive or something extravagant. You know, we're renting a Class C, and it's 400 bucks Canadian a night. It's not cheap, but the hotel rooms in Banff are 400 a night, and I would need 2 of them. So yeah, I'm with you, Sonia. I love my slide out. You can't deploy it everywhere, which is Robert's issue. So I get that, but it's almost like a separate trailer. Like there's so much room with that slide out, and I haven't had any problems with mine either. So Cookie is seriously considering tent camping with Foxy for a few nights before our next Mayo appointment, hoping the lower dose works for no side effects. That would be good. Anytime you can get outside, you know, I'm all for that. Anyways, gang, it is 9 o'clock, it is 10 o'clock. Wow. Okay. See, I'm going to get this live thing right eventually. Next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled time. Hopefully it won't be the day before. Hopefully there will be no special links. Hopefully the live stream will not start after the live stream finishes. We're going to try and get through all the technical difficulties. Yeah, no problem, William. If you have any questions, like, you know, you've got me on Facebook, just message me. I'm more than happy to help. Yeah, most are off the highway. Like I'm gonna boondock at a Walmart. I'm pretty sure I can deploy the slide out in a Walmart if I'm far enough away, and that's in Canada, so I feel pretty safe. I don't know that I'll need to deploy it because it'll probably just be me. It might be Glenn, but and I'll be the second night. I'll be at the RV Hall of Fame in Elkhart, and late September. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people there. I should be able to deploy the slide out there as well. All right, Cookie, have a good night. Well, hello, Fatima. I'm just about to wrap up. Thanks for stopping in to say hello. I don't mean to say hello and leave, but we are after 10 now, so I am going to call it a night, guys, and I will see you next week. Sonia got your package. Oh, class is over. Well, it was nice that he actually didn't cancel it this week. All right, gang. We will see you next week. Thanks again for stopping in with us. As always, it's been a blast. Hello, I must be going. Yes. And thanks again for your support. And we will see you next week. In the meantime, take care. Have a great night.